Hi Equals, it's Kim, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, I do episodes, videos about various LGBT issues. So LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, and I'm using that as a fully inclusive term of all other identities that are SOGI diverse. SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So I'm trying to use these terms more and more so people become familiar with them. Today I want to talk about what do straight cisgender people need to feel safe, whether that's physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally safe around LGBT people. Now you're like, well, what does that have to do with anything? I believe that at the base of everybody's discomfort, hostility, whatever, around LGBT people is an issue of safety. That's fear. They fear something. They do not feel safe. I don't know the answer to this, but maybe if we go in search of what is it that these folks need to feel safe. Couple of ideas, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. So one thing that I believe to be true about straight cisgender people who are uncomfortable or hostile to LGBT people is, now first, I think there is a number of folks who are also SOGI diverse, who, because of, whether it's their upbringing, their social upbringing, their religious upbringing, whatever, feel that they cannot express their diversity and are trying very hard, and this is, as adults, this is their choice, to conform to the way that society, their community, their family, their religious traditions expect. And I'm going to guess that's a struggle. I bet that's hard. And they may fear a few things. One, they can't figure out why the rest of us aren't doing it. They may view other LGBT people as not trying hard enough. Or they may see us as a threat, that if LGBT people live comfortably and accepted in society, that their choice to conform other than is their nature becomes less exemplary, less worthwhile, less something to be approved. I don't know, but I think that a lot of people who are hostile to LGBT people actually might be somewhat LGBT, maybe be bisexual more than anything else. I don't know. And social acceptance of LGBT people frightens them. Then there's a group of people, and these are usually guys, but I presume it probably happens in female situations as well, where men don't want to be around other gay men. So straight men don't want to be around gay men, or bisexual men for that matter, because they fear that the gay man or the bisexual man will hit on them or ask them for something that looks romantic or sexual. And they don't know how to deal with it. Guys, women have learned to deal with unwanted sexual attraction for centuries, or sexual attention for centuries. Time that you learn how to do this. And you know, guys, when you go up to a girl and you use your come on phrase and it doesn't work, and the woman does something like, thank you very much, I appreciate that that you're asking, but I'm not interested. That's all it takes. It's an unwanted sexual advance or romantic advance, and it doesn't say anything negative about you, straight cisgender guy, other than, you're attractive. Feel flattered, but you're not interested. It's really easy. Anything else that you think that says about you, that you're too feminine, that you're too something else, is all in your head. You're making that up, right? It's just, hey, thank you very much, I'm flattered, but I'm not interested. You can say I'm straight, you can, whatever. But it's not a big deal. You just move on. Okay, I know, some guys still get all creepy about that, or they feel all creepy about that. That's your thing. And you can work on it, and it can become a not creepy thing. Or a thing where you might feel creepy, but you find a better way to respond than with violence or derision, and simply respond with the way women have had to learn to respond. So anyway, that's another. What else do people need to feel safe? Well, LGBT people have for a long time been the boogeyman. There is this idea that some of us were brought up that LGBT people are somehow out to get the children, or out to convert straight people to being LGBT. The truth is, we can't tell who's LGBT and who's not, because nobody's wearing a sign around their neck. The Nazis tried that. Right? Nobody's wearing a sign around their neck or on their shirts. The only way to find out is to have a conversation with somebody, or to use that pickup line we just talked about. And we need to let go of that idea that the LGBT person is somehow the boogeyman. There are bad people out there who do bad things. Some of them might be LGBT. A lot of them are not. But just being LGBT does not make you the boogeyman. Okay? So that is one. Another thing, and this appears to be well-meaning, is a parent who finds out that their child is LGBT, and they fear for their child, because they know that the world is a rough place for LGBT people, and they fear on behalf of their child. And so they might not want their child to be LGBT, and try to find services that might cure their child. Totally not a good idea. I will put up one of my conversion therapy videos up here. It's harmful, it's unnecessary, and not effective. Now, what other ways? The whole issue with bathrooms and transgender people, that's all the fear of the boogeyman type thing. Transgender people, for the most part, when they transition 24/7. So they are themselves, the social transition, the name and the pronoun, all the time once they do transition. They're not just dressing up as a woman to go in the women's bathroom. They are always a woman, have always been a woman, and have, since their transition at least, been using the women's bathroom. They go in, they use the facilities, they come out, they wash their hands, they check their makeup and their hair, and they leave. If somebody's standing around in a bathroom doing anything that looks fishy, suspicious, like a man just walking into a woman's room and saying, well, I identify as transgender, and so I'm going to stand here and ogle you all, or some variation on that, that is not okay. Call somebody. That's against the law. But a trans woman walking into the woman's bathroom, using it, washing her hands, checking her hair and makeup, there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing out of order. There is no reason to call the cops or anybody else. Again, bad behavior, yes. But normal bathroom behavior is not a reason to call the cops. I've actually been at a park once with a group of transgender people that were having a picnic, and all of a sudden the cops show up. And this is what had happened. It was a park, and a trans woman was using the women's restroom, and somebody called the police. So the policeman came. You realize, we explained about, or I didn't, I left this up to a transgender person to do this, since they were there to speak for themselves, that this was a picnic, that some of the people there were transgender, and the cop just kind of went, oh, okay, yep, I know, and left. He understood what the problem was, or he understood that the problem was not the transgender people, but the person who called the cops. Those are some of the things that I know of. There is, a kind of a religious fear that hits a little bit closer to home for me, not for me personally, but for my spouse, in that people fear that they will not all be together in heaven when they die. I'm not a theologian. I do not believe that God condemns their creations. I'm going to use a gender-neutral pronoun for God. That God condemns their creations. I know that there's a religious argument that LGBT people should fight their desires and conform to the particular religion's view of what the Bible says, and that thereby they will be saved and be in heaven with everybody else in their family. And that this fear of not being able to be in heaven with siblings in particular is real. I mean, I know. I've watched it happen before. And I think, that's something that's between the person and their God. Their issue is with God, not with their sibling. I really liked what Pete Buttigieg said about, that if you have an issue with his sexual orientation, then your issue is actually with his creator and not with him. Anyway, this has gone on long enough. If you know other fears of straight cisgender people, that if we could find a way to make them feel safe, that maybe they would be more welcoming, more affirming, less hostile to LGBT people, I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. You can always direct message me or private message me on Facebook, so that so if you don't want to put it out publicly, I get that. But I'd love to hear, because I'd like to add to this. Anyway, so today we were talking about how do we make straight cisgender people feel safe when they are around LGBT people, so that LGBT people can be safer, literally, can be safer in their persons, in their jobs, in their housing, etc. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit the red subscribe button. I'd love you to hit the little bell and make it turn red so that you will be notified every time I put up a new video. Have a good week, equals. Bye.